I'm Stephanie Prescott. We're live today from REMAX Capital Properties in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I'm here with...
I'm Steve Prescott, and I have the honor of sitting with my beautiful wife for a live Facebook. This is great.
Yes.
It's usually Rebecca Hess. We have to kick her out of here occasionally. Yeah. She loves to do Facebook Lives.
And so Tammy Facemeyer. I mean, all of them. It's getting to where it's really a challenge.
Oh, that's right. Tammy loves them now. That's right.
Yeah, she lived to tell about it. So we're here today live from REMAX Capital Properties in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we get together and answer questions from the audience. If you have any questions about what's happening in the real estate market, what's happening in Cheyenne, we'll get you the answers. So you can drop them in the comments now, or you can add them later and we'll still get an answer to you. So anyway, football season for us, it's a huge part of what's going on. And I know volleyball's in full swing, and what else? Track, cross country, track, maybe. University of Wyoming, football, that's going on.
Yes.
Everybody's having a good time in the fall, and yesterday really felt like fall.
Yeah, it was a little hard to absorb, but we made it through it, and it's beautiful today, so that's good.
It is beautiful today, but yesterday was 42 to 48 degrees, I believe, whatever I looked at least, and it was pouring rain all day long, which helps with forest fires. We haven't had those, so grateful, but it definitely felt like fall yesterday, and today it is absolutely beautiful, so.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I was driving here back to the office for this, and the trees, some of the tree leaves are yellow already. So I sound like a Debbie Downer. I'm sorry, but that's what's going on outside. I'm sure you've all seen it.
And then there are some people who absolutely love fall, right? And so I do too. Fall is beautiful. Like even football weather in the fall normally is really great. And so what's your favorite thing going on in Cheyenne right now? What's happening in the community? Tell us what's happening out there. You're kind of only involved in the things that you're involved in. And so for us, it's sports with our kids. And so that's where our mind always focuses. But if there's something great that people need to know about that's happening, let us know. Put it in the comments and we'll help you to get your information out. So every headline says something different. So what's going on in the Cheyenne real estate market right now?
Well, I've analyzed the statistics. And actually what's interesting is the numbers are not far off from last year. The total number of homes sold through year to date compared to last year at this exact same date, it's we only have a difference of about 38 homes. So not
higher
much.
Or lower?
We're a little more this year.
38 homes more.
More this year, yep. And then our average sales price went from, we were at $410,000 last year, and now we're at $425,000 this year. So raised a little bit. Overall, it shows our appreciation is up about 5 to 7%, depending on the home type. So that's great news for sellers, that we're still, on an upward movement for appreciation. That's always great. Over all these years in real estate, I have really never seen a downward trend towards depreciation. And so even in the time frame of 2008-9, the Great Recession, we were just really flat. So very fortunate to be in a market that is continually ticking up. I know that comes with a price tag because it costs more for everyone. And so it is tough for buyers, especially a lot of people coming in to our community that are not used to that. And it does seem expensive, but I mean, we can't really regulate that. Ultimately, what regulates the prices are the buyers, and they're willing to pay a certain amount for the home. And that's what keeps the prices going in the way they go.
Did you happen to look at what was the interest rate a year ago in comparison today?
We were probably 0.25% higher. Is what I didn't really look, but I think just from memory, that's about what it was. There was obviously a lot of people saw that the Feds met last week, and there was an adjustment. It came down 25 basis points, which basically is 0.25% for short-term rates. And short-term rates are your car loans and consumer financing. And so that's what's directly affected with the adjustment. And then that does trickle down into the mortgage rates as well. And what's kind of funny, the couple days before the interest rate was dropped, the rates started to significantly drop a little bit. And I say significantly, like 0.3%. And then they, after the news was released, they actually went up a little bit for a couple days. So We've stabilized, and so the good news with all that interest rate talk is that people are hearing that there's some adjustments going on, and that's really needed right now, because it gets old to just say interest rates are still flat, and really for the last year we haven't had an adjustment. So it's good for people to know that interest rates are going in the right direction, at least for us, for people that want to pay less interest.
Right, which is always a good thing.
Totally.
Yeah, and I mean, they just keep having such contradictory numbers between unemployment and inflation numbers, and so I guess I'm glad I'm not the chairman of the Fed to figure all that out. But we will welcome any kind of relief for people trying to buy their homes.
Yeah,
that will be a great thing to see eventually. As we head into this fourth quarter, you're not only hearing so much about what's going on with the interest rate and all the different headlines on inflation, unemployment, all the things. Also, the other word we continually hear is AI. And so Cheyenne is not Silicon Valley, right? But people are definitely using AI for their home search, marketing, finding what they're looking for, looking at communities. You can do all the things. And so how are you seeing the consumers using AI in their real estate search?
Well, they've just they're just replacing it for Google, really, anymore, is what I'm hearing from folks. And they'll say, instead of, the term has always been, I Googled it, but now it's really, they put it into AI, or they put it in a chat.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of searching going on that way. It's extremely powerful from the regard of like things that your outputs, the things you can do, and things you can get. And I even mean within a marketing standpoint of real estate. And, there are several sites that I can upload just still photography on, and it will do like a walkthrough kind of video. And so that's powerful. It's just going to continue to evolve. But with that said, I think there is also still a need for that human intervention and human contact and communication. And you still have to have trust with, someone that knows what they're doing. Right. And so AI cannot replace that.
Right.
I like AI, but I don't know. I don't want it to make us more, less intelligent.
Oh,
but it seems like it can.
Some of the reels that he shares to me about the future with how we have to ask it to just answer simple questions like, where's the box of Kleenex? But we digress. But for the parts that it's very helpful for, I love what it does for the consumer and the opportunities it helps us with making sure all the marketing is spot on. So when we've already done excellent marketing here for our sellers and the ability to help our buyers with top-notch service, it's just a very powerful connection. But we love the social side of the human connection and the human relationship.
Right.
So that's more of what I see happening, is it helps you to be great at what you're great at. Helps you to fix the bottlenecks that you have a bottleneck with. But for the consumers, probably some of the scam stuff can be scary with AI if we aren't careful of all that. But overall, we've seen a positive effect in some of the things that we do. And let us know what your thoughts are on it. If you have any questions, we are live from REMAX Capital Properties, here to answer your questions. So if you have any, drop them in the comments. Reach out to us. I'm sure you can reach us on our phones. Buyers today are busy, right?
Right.
Everybody's busy, and buyers are busy, and they'll pay more for a home that's turnkey. So then, if you're a seller getting ready to sell your home, what are the things that you would recommend doing to your home that the return on the investment will be there? And or if you're a buyer and you don't have to do those things to the home, should they see a value on those types of improvements?
Yeah, so I mean, the best part about that question is that the majority of these things that can be done cost very little, and most of the time nothing. So the biggest thing is like the first impression of a property when you roll up on it, and so getting all the things cleaned up in the yard and the first presentation of the home, and so it takes pruning trees and some paint maybe. Cleaning windows. I mean, it's amazing. I was showing a home the other day, and I could barely see out of the windows, and I'm thinking, you got to clean these windows. I mean, just to be able to look out, it shows so much better. So a lot of those things are done, and decluttering inside, that are just cheap. They're free. So those things, really focus on those initially, because they cost you nothing other than time And I know that we're all busy, and you're right, it's really hard. I think so many times I'm going to get to a point where I'm not as busy, but that's not happening. And it isn't for other people. So, but take the time to do that is a first step. So that's a little bit of the answer.
And so as a seller, then if you were like, you had a bathroom that's half fixed, or you have a kitchen that the cabinets are from the 1950s, what is it that they would want to put their money into if they're trying to increase their profits?
Yeah, so you have to take the step out of the seller role and put yourself into the buyer role, which is how am I going to envision this as a buyer looking through my home? And so we have to take away any objection possibly that we can that's affordable. And some of the things aren't affordable, but they may need to be done. But that's why I go into painting, even some staging. All those things can be pretty inexpensive that can totally change the look of a property. But take away any objection you can, because here's what happens to a buyer. The buyer walks in and they're looking at some paint that needs to be done on a wall. Well, then they go, well, I'm going to have to paint this wall and probably the rest of the house. And so that's $3,000. So they immediately take off this number. Whereas if you're a seller, maybe you have it painted or it costs a gallon of paint, and you're looking at maybe $100 to $500. So there's a big disconnect between the costs. And so the buyer, you like to do this. You round way up on everything. She rounds way up. So if something costs, if I come to her and I'm like, hey, this is going to cost $20, she said, it's like $50. So anyway, she rounds up. But that's what buyers do too. So they totally round up, and it really doesn't cost that much. So take away those objections.
Yeah, or you're stuck in the 90s pricing.
Right.
And I'll say, what's it going to cost to do this? Yeah. And he'll say a number, and I'm like, that's like 1990s pricing, Steve. And so, yeah. So
I just did that.
So truly find out what something costs.
Right. I'm still lost with a gallon of paint. I mean, a gallon of paint was like $25, and I still think that in my mind. But it's like $75 now. It's crazy for a gallon of paint.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Well, I've just heard you talk about it, but I don't paint, so
yeah.
That's your wheelhouse. But it's like carpeting and things like that. And or like a bathroom. We have a bathroom that is so expensive to remodel.
Yeah.
And so anyway, those are the things I think a seller would appreciate knowing. And so what happens when you go to look at a home that you're going to possibly list to sell? That's when you say, you could put such and such amount of money into this and you will get that back and more so, or it won't be worth it.
Right. And put yourself into that buyer's eyes. Would I object to this?
Right.
If you can. While we're on that topic, I brought a little note of some things because I come prepared. I don't just wing it. Okay, I really do wing it. But I wanted to bring some things of value to people. And the great thing about video is you can rewatch this, so you don't have to write them down. But some things of value because we're in the fall. We're really we're in fall. I think we're really in fall.
Already talked
and
about
yesterday, you really felt about it yesterday. So a few things you really need to look at your house and doing. And a lot of these are kind of like no-brainers, but it's really great to hear them again because maybe it'll put it in top of mind.
So these are repairs.
Repairs are things to prepare for your house.
When you get ready for fall maintenance.
Yeah, you're not necessarily, these aren't like selling things. Some of them could be, but really it's just for your own good, for your own home. So sprinkler system blowouts, we know that. Most people that have a sprinkler system know they have to blow those out. I like to push it up until about the 15th of October, but definitely by, I'd say Halloween, have it done because of the snow. Furnace filter, this is a great time to replace your furnace filters. I think you talk to the HVAC guys and they're probably more like do it every 4 months, something like that. But if you're doing it once a year or never, then at least do it right now. It's a good time of year to do it. Smoke alarm battery replacement.
Yes.
You really want to do those smoke alarm batteries during the day when they're not chirping because they start to chirp. Somehow they program those to start to chirp at 3 a.m.
Right.
when you're sleeping. So you want to get that done and out of the way. Make sure you remove your hoses from your hose spigots. So what happens is our first freeze, we have so many homes that still have the hoses on, and they freeze those silcocks and it goes back into the wall. You don't notice a leak until you turn on the spigot in the spring, and then it leaks everywhere in the house. So
and then you would feel hosed.
And you're hosed. So do the spigot, remove the hoses. A little bit later in the fall, clean out your gutters because all those leaves that come down get in your gutters. And we have even here at the office, they'll get into the gutters and the scuppers. They're called scuppers on a commercial building, but they get in there and then the water cannot flow. It flows back under the fascia and then it freezes and it causes water damage. So good to get those done. Have your chimneys inspected. I mean, if you're running your fireplaces or your wood stoves, get those inspected and
On
cleaned.
both gas.
Well,
and-
gas too.
and
My
wood.
next one was clean gas, fireplaces, and glass. So our glass, I don't know what happens. The moths somehow find their way into those
Yes.
gas fireplaces, and then they put their stuff all in there. So get that all cleaned up. Maybe have your HVAC, your furnace, or your hot water heat system serviced right now would be good, so you're not going to be dead in the water in the middle of the winter or when it's cold. This is one it's interesting. Our winds seem to pick up, surprisingly, in the winter and early spring. So check the strength of your fence posts. Go out and wheel them around, because if they're starting to get soft, it's inevitable they're going to break off within a couple of big windstorms. And then the other one I put in here was seal any exterior concrete cracks that you have. So driveways, sidewalks, those sort of things. If you see a crack developing and it's an eighth of an inch or so, it's really good to get some of that sealed with some concrete sealant, because what happens is the water gets in there when it snows, or at this time of year, it freezes, it expands, and then it contracts, and so it just continues that crack and it makes it worse. So if you see them, it's good to deal with them now, because it really does wreak havoc later. And then I had aerate lawns. It's a pretty good time. We do ours a couple times a year, but it's good in the fall. So that was my list I had, and I hope that's valuable to someone out there.
Yeah, I think those are excellent fall maintenance home tips, right?
Now I just have to do those at our house.
Now we need to do
That's
those.
right. That's right.
So on that kind of a topic, like everyone loves a fixer-upper until, as we talked earlier, they see the price of some of the materials. So is there still value today in 2025 for sweat equity?
There is. I'm working with a young couple right now. They just got married. They're going to have a baby real soon here.
Yeah.
And so we had to really search, and it's hard because you want to everyone wants to find a great deal, right? But they are at a position in their life where they can afford to do some things, especially if you're able to do it yourself.
Right.
And put in that equity or that sweat equity. So you just have to find the right deal. So it takes some searching and a lot of looking to find them. But it's absolutely a great opportunity to find a fixer-upper. If the agent is doing the right things with their seller, they should be counseling them, though, to take care of a lot of those issues. But that doesn't always happen. And also some of the sellers can't afford to do some of the fix-up. So you're going to still find them out there.
Some of those are even hard skill sets. I mean,
Well,
like
right.
just replacing toilets and some of those things that I don't have the skills for. You do,
Mhm.
but not everybody does.
Yeah.
And so you really have to know that you do have the skill set and that you're going to start something and finish something.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
I've kind of witnessed over the years.
We used to have a lot more bank-owned properties, foreclosures. I sold a lot of those in the Great Recession, 2007 through 9. A lot of foreclosures, and those you could get definitely fixer-uppers, because it just seemed like the majority of those were in rough shape. And we just don't have that many anymore. They probably make up not even 1% of our market.
Right.
So they're just a little more difficult to find, but you can find them out there.
Yeah.
You
But
just
even
have to look.
replacing tile and things like that, I mean, those are sweat equity that it totally changes the look of a place.
Right.
If you know how to do that. And anyway, so I think that's really a fun opportunity if you can get something, not necessarily a whole flip home. I know Amber Johnson and I did a video recently about actually flipping homes. And so that's not the same thing we're talking about. We're talking about changing out some hardware on cabinets and maybe replacing some flooring or doing
Yeah.
some painting, but doing it yourself to get some sweat equity. So it sounds like yes. The answer is yes. You'll
Yes,
get your
for sure.
return and you might get a little bit less.
Well, and
price
especially
on it.
you're gonna, the goal would hopefully be that you're gonna hold on to the property for a little while. Like these young folks, hopefully they hold on to it I told them to hold on to it forever because I like rentals. So hopefully they'll continue to do that. But hold on to it for a while. If you're flipping, your vision and goal is to turn it as soon as possible. So that's why you have to maximize that margin.
Right.
But on a fixer-upper that you buy and live in, keep it for several years. You'll be able to make really good equity on it.
Right. Well, good. And so the last thing that I wanted to talk about is just you're on the chamber board.
Yes.
And I know the chamber just went to Washington, D.C. You didn't make that trip this year.
Right.
But people don't just buy a home. I mean, they buy real estate to be part of their portfolio and to build wealth and all of that. But they also by the community. And it feels like Cheyenne has a lot to celebrate right now. Do you have anything that you're witnessing on the board or even just as a citizen here that you feel is worth celebrating in our community?
Well, we have a lot of companies that are still looking to this area. I think the cost of the tax savings for a lot of these corporations is great for Wyoming. It's very tax friendly, so that's why a lot of folks or places are looking here. We have a lot of still data centers looking here, right. And I think we have to balance that carefully because they consume so much electricity. Right. So we have to really be careful on that. But as far as things and things that are happening here, I mean, we have some wonderful, great awards that people are nominated for here. I mean, I think you're nominated for a Woman of Influence mentor for the state of Wyoming.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
I got to give you some kudos on that. That's incredible. So I hope you win. I mean, obviously, but just having the nomination is great. And so that we do hear about that coming up. Is it next week? Something like that.
It's October 7th.
October 7th. So we're coming
Amber
up.
and Rebecca.
So Amber Johnson, nominated for real estate in the state as a woman of influence, and Rebecca Hess.
Yes.
I mean, those are huge things, which are wonderful. And then we also have for the best of the best. Yes. We have a few nominations for that too.
Well, finalists. It says like the email received says top 3 finalists.
Top 3. So hopefully, I don't know if it's 3, but it's still a nomination and for the best of the best. So we have some agents for that. We have Amber Johnson on that. We have Rebecca Hess. And we have Jessica Biggs for agent for best of the best. Luckily for REMAX, we were nominated as best of the best for real estate company, which is exciting.
We won that last year. That was such a blessing. So that was so cool. We're looking forward to that.
Yep.
And then you're one of the finalists for Person of the Year.
Man.
So that wasn't even part of what I was talking about. I was thinking more like along the lines of the metadata center coming to.
Well, I think of the great things, those are really uplifting.
Great things. I think that I love the size of our community because we are big enough that we have the amenities. We can get everything we need here in Cheyenne. We have great schools and all that. And then we're still small enough that we get to know people's names. And you go into a restaurant, you see people or you. I went into a waiting room today at a doctor's office, and I didn't know one person there, and I thought that was strange. Like, it's normally in Cheyenne, you can look around somewhere, and you see someone and I enjoy that. That part's really important to me. But
my sister came and brother-in-law came to visit one time, and we went out to eat or something, and then we went to, like, Sam's or somewhere, and so you run into people, and you're like, hey, how's it going? She's like, you guys know everyone. I'm like, no, it's just small town, right? Everyone kind of knows each other. It's wonderful.
And then the real problem is when you meet different people and then you know them like in one setting and then you see them in a different setting and sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, who is that? But
the gym, that's our one that gets me all the time. You see someone at the gym and then and you see them later like, oh,
you clean up pretty good.
Yeah, you do clean up really well.
But anyway, well, I just think that we do have a lot of things going on to celebrate here. I know I'm a warm weather girl and you're a warm weather guy, and so we know we're headed into fall, but with the fall comes all the fun and all the football and all the things. And so we appreciate you joining us today, and we're here when you need anything to do with real estate in Cheyenne, or if you're considering relocating to Cheyenne, reach out to us here at REMAX Capital Properties.
Have a great week.
Thank you.